Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. Hi, my name is Wendy. Today I thought, since we're getting near the end of summer and getting closer to fall, that I would talk a little bit about my experiences with Inktober and my failures in the past and the things I did to make it a little bit easier. And hopefully you will be able to pick up a few tips to help you with your Inktober challenge or monthly drawing challenge. Also, stick around to the end because I have a really exciting announcement. So here we are, currently as I'm recording this, August 25th, 2022. And as we're getting close to the end of the summer, although it is still very hot and summery here in Western Canada, but as we are getting close to the end of summer and into fall, some people may be thinking about their fall activities, and one such popular fall activity in the month of October is Inktober. And you can just skip through to the announcement if you want, but the video kind of is a segue up to that announcement. So if you do watch the video all the way to the end and then don't stick around for the announcement, you're missing out on something pretty cool and something I'm pretty excited about. Anyways, let's get into Inktober. So, what the heck is Inktober? If you don't know, Inktober is a daily drawing challenge in the month of October where you draw something every day in ink, Inktober. And it was started by a guy named Jake Parker, who is a professional illustrator and artist. I will link the Inktober website below where you can read up a little bit more on it. Also, I'm going to link a video to Jake's video where he talks about the history and why he came up with Inktober. But basically, the rules are super simple. You draw something every day in ink, you post it, you hashtag it with Inktober, and then you repeat every day. You know, it's pretty flexible. If you can't do every day, do a half marathon, do it every other day, or just post once a week. Whatever you decide to do, the point is just to do it, really. And if you're too nervous about posting online on social media, post it on your fridge. It even says so right on the website, so it's allowed. But anyways, the point is really just to do it. So I want to talk a little bit about my experience with Inktober. The first time I tried it was in 2016, and that was the first year that they actually released an official Inktober prompt list. Before that, you kind of just came up with your own words or just drew whatever you want, which is still perfectly acceptable. You do not have to go by the official Inktober prompt list. But anyway, so I started in 2016 and I got this little cheap sketchbook. I think the sketchbook was like $3 at my local art store. And so for this one, I just did pen and ink drawings. I think I might have sketched lightly in pencil underneath. I mean, I probably did. And then I shaded with Copic markers. Alcohol ink markers. And I was having a lot of fun and I was very excited about doing this challenge. It was the first time I ever tried it. And there's a couple of cute pictures that came out of this one. A couple of not so cute pictures that came out of this one. I've actually gone over these in some of my past art review videos. If you want to go check those out, you can. But anyways, I made it all the way to day 9. A whole whopping 9 days. And the 10th day, I don't remember what the prompt was, but I couldn't think of anything. And so I didn't do a drawing that day. And then the next day I thought, well, I can't, what do I do? Like, I can't draw yesterday's prompt today, and I can't skip a day, can I? Like, I was so caught up in my own head about the rules and that I had to do exactly the prompts that were given to me every day on the day, and if I didn't get them all done, I failed. So I basically got in my head about it, and that was it. I got 9 days into Inktober 2016, and that was it. So I tried again in 2017, and I decided this year I'd make myself a cover page, for one, and for two, I thought I'd give myself a little bit more of a theme. So for every word that was on the prompt list, I was going to do it in sort of like a tattoo style and try to incorporate the actual word into like a banner on the image. And again, started out pretty strong. I had some great ideas. You know, I got a few of them down. Some of these designs I've actually even since turned into, I've like redone them digitally and turned them into stickers and designs on my shop. But I made it all the way to day, what day is this? I didn't number my days. So I made it all the way to day 11 this time. And then the same thing happened as the year before. Day 12 came along and I could not think of what to draw for the prompt that was given. I got in my head again about, you know, skipping a day, not skipping a day. It's too late, I've failed. I can't post something now because somebody's going to notice that I missed a day and call me out on it. Very ridiculous thoughts in hindsight, but that's kind of what froze me and kept me from doing it. So anyways, that was that. And I didn't try again until last year, 2021. And so this time I came up with a little bit of a different game plan to get myself through it. First off, I noticed that the biggest problem was that every time I got to a prompt word that I couldn't think of a design for, I kind of froze. So for 2021, I thought I would approach it a little bit differently. First off, I relaxed a little. I thought, this isn't for anyone else. This is for me. So I don't care if I miss a day. I just right off the bat told myself, I don't care if I miss a day. I don't care if anybody else cares that I missed a day. That's not what it's about. And I'm just going to keep drawing. The second thing was, because I am not really good at coming up with quick illustration or drawing ideas based on somebody else's words, that I would make my own list this year, which is how people used to do it anyways. So I went online and I searched a whole bunch of other lists that other people had made, because there's a ton of Inktober drawing challenges. And you can just Google, Inktober drawing challenge prompt list, and you'll come up with pages and pages of other people's prompt lists. I know Furry Little Peach does Peachtober, Mab Graves does Drawloween. There's a lot out there. So I kind of just flipped through other people's lists, and every time a word popped out to me that inspired me or that I could visualize something, I wrote it down. And then after I had quite a long list of words, I went through it and I picked the 31 most interesting to me words. And that was how I came up with my list. And I even came up with my own hashtag, Bazutober. I know, it's stupid, but there it is. And I kind of just did it so that I could search that hashtag at the end of it on Instagram and see all my posts together. I have to say, I did not make it all 31 days. I did miss a few days. I think I got 24 done, but it was by far my most successful Inktober. So tip number 1, don't be pressured to draw off of the quote-unquote official prompt list. Make up your own. Find your own words that'll inspire you, that you want to draw. I also decided to set myself a theme. Everything was sort of witchy or witchcraft sort of based, which helped me narrow down how I was going to approach drawing each word. Setting yourself a limitation like that can really help, because the options when you're given a prompt can be very overwhelming sometimes. I found for me it was either really overwhelming and I couldn't decide what to draw, or maybe it was analysis paralysis because there was so many options. I kind of just went blank and froze a little. So it did help for me to narrow it down to this witchy theme, and it also definitely helped for me to make my own list. The next thing I did to make it easier for myself was I decided to keep it simple. I wasn't going to do huge, elaborate, inked out illustrations like some people do. I am not fast enough at drawing or inking to pull up something that beautiful and elaborate in a day like that. Some people have a lot more time in their days that they can set aside for drawing and inking. So they can spend a couple of hours just getting right into the details and making a very elaborate, completely finished ink drawing. Some people are also just faster at drawing because it's maybe a medium that they use a lot more. Again, not me. I'm quite slow. So because of this, I thought I would just keep it simple, sort of outlines. If there was any shading, it was just going to be black. That was it. I also decided I was only going to use 1 or 2 pens, so I had those set aside for myself. I used this Pentel pocket brush, which if you have never used one of these before and you say you want the idea of a convenience of a pen, but you like dipping a brush in ink, this is an awesome alternative because the brush is actually individual bristles, like an actual paintbrush, and then it's just full of ink in the ink cartridge. So you don't have to dip it all the time, so you have that convenience of a pen, but the flexibility of a paintbrush. And I did use this for most of the inking, but my hand isn't quite steady enough for all of it. So I also used a Faber-Castell Pitt pen, which it has a bullet nib. It's a little bit. It's got a little bit of flexibility in that I can get like a little bit of variation in the line thickness, but I can actually push on it. I'm a little heavy-handed, so the brush pen can sometimes get away from me because I push too hard and I make a mess. But it is great for getting really painterly strokes, and it is also good for filling in large areas with black ink. But anyways, so yeah, that was simple. I had my paper set aside. I used Borden Riley's bleed proof paper for pens. I can't remember where I got this from. I feel like maybe I ordered it from Jackson's in the UK. I don't remember if they carry this at my local art shop here in Canada. But anyways, I used this, and it's a really nice smooth paper, and it allows the ink to go on it nice and smooth and crisp without bleeding into any texture that some papers they'll have texture, so the ink will bleed out into it a little bit more. So yeah, so I got those things all together and just had them set aside. And then the next thing I did to make this a little easier for myself was I started before October. I think I started maybe around this time last year, and I went into Procreate and I opened up a file. Let me just show you here. So I went into Procreate and I made myself my prompt list in Procreate and assigned each word that I decided I'd like to draw to a day of the month. Then I went through the document and I made 31 pages, and on each page I wrote the word that I was supposed to draw that day. I would write the word, I would gather some inspiration, like this one was jar, so I kind of looked up a bunch of jars and dragged them in here so I could get an idea of how the light and stuff works. I would do a rough sketch, and then on top of that I would do a tidier, clean sketch with a darker color. So then once I had my finalized darker sketch on Procreate, I would just print it out on a piece of printer paper at the size that I wanted to ink it, and then I used my light table to trace over it with ink, and that's how I did it. And then that evening while I was sitting around watching TV or whatever, I would start to sketch out ideas for the next day, and I just rinse and repeated all the way through all the days, and eventually got through almost all of them. Usually I already had kind of an idea of what I wanted. Like obviously this one, crystal ball, I'm thinking of the magic crystal ball. I would sketch out how did I want to display it. And then I would do my rough sketch, usually play with things, turn them around, and get to my final sketch, which I would then again print out and trace over. I decided to go with tracing for a couple of reasons. First of all, I'm not tracing somebody else's designs. I was tracing my own designs. Second of all, I was trying to make this challenge as easy for myself as possible, and this was how I did it. I traced over my own drawings. I am not that good with a pen and ink, so I really wanted to just get it done and have something that I could just post and move on to the next one, because if I was trying to ink this from hand, I could do it, it would just take longer, and maybe it wouldn't turn out as good, and maybe I would feel too weird about posting it. There's a ton of reasons, but the reasons mostly that I decided just to go with it, again, was because I was looking to make this as easy for myself as possible, and I personally think that that is okay. I'm just gonna let you watch some of my inking process here while I talk a little bit about some of the positives for doing a challenge like this. I do know that there's a lot of negatives, like the pressure to create every day and the anxiety of posting. But like I said, you don't have to do it every day. You can just, do it every other day, do it once a week, do whatever is comfortable for you. And if you're anxious about posting it online, again, post it on your fridge, post it on the wall beside you. It doesn't matter. So maybe those will help take away some of those negative feelings. But some of the positive things and why you should do it is you're going to learn new skills. If you are not good at inking in whatever, pen and ink, dip pen, whatever, markers, whatever you decide to do, you're going to get better at it if you do it every day. There's just no way you're not going to get better at it. That's what practice is for. If you want to learn a new medium, like say you've never worked with ink before, this is the perfect way to do it. This is the perfect way to practice a new medium because a lot of the guidelines are already set for you, right? You don't really have to think too much about making a perfect piece of art because that's not what the point is. You can just pull out your ink and practice a new medium. It can also exercise your imagination. When you're looking at a prompt list and you have to come up with something to draw from a single word, that definitely helps to strengthen your imagination and your creativity. Some of us are already better at this than others. Some of us need practice, myself included. But this is a good way to practice that as well. It's also a good way to develop a positive habit. Doing something every day for an entire month, your brain just sort of gets used to being in that rhythm and doing it. And it's not such a chore anymore. It becomes a habit. It also will help you develop a style. I know a lot of us are always like, how do I find my style? What do I know what my style is? Well, the more I draw and do art and the older I get, the more I realize that there is only one way to develop your style, and that is to just keep drawing. There is no shortcut to it. There's no cheat to it. There's no formula. You just have to draw. And eventually, when you draw, at first it's going to be shaky, it's going to be rough, it might look too much like somebody else's, but eventually what's going to happen is if you draw, say you're working in a brush pen, if you draw with a brush pen every single day for a month, you're going to start to develop the habit of holding in the pen a certain way, applying pressure a certain way, doing your curves a certain way. All of these things are just going to naturally start to develop the more you do it, and that is what becomes your style. Doing a monthly drawing challenge is a great way to do that. Also, if you decide that you're going to post this online, it's a great way to grow an audience. People love these sorts of things. And, if they get on the bandwagon and they're wanting to see what everybody else is up to, or even if they're just curious about what everybody's up to and they're not even participating, they will search those hashtags and your artwork can come up in those searches. And it's just a good way to be part of an art community and put yourself out there and let people find you when people are already looking for that particular topic. It's also a good way to find new artists to follow and admire because they will be posting too. And if you look at the hashtags and see what other people are doing, you're going to find somebody that you think is amazing and you're going to want to go follow them. So there's a lot of good reasons why you should participate in some sort of a monthly challenge. Maybe October is not a good month for you. That's fine. If you look it up online, there are a lot of different kinds of drawings throughout the entire year that you can just pick one and participate and tweak it just a little bit to make it your own, make it easier for you, make it something that truly inspires you and keeps you going. The point really is just to actually do it. And I missed, even in this last year, 2021, I missed a few days. I got busy. I missed a few days. And that's okay. When the day came along, a couple days later or whatever, when I had time to get working on it, I would just go to that day and pick up like I had never missed a day. I didn't worry about what other people thought or anything like that. And guess what? Nobody called me out on missing a day or two because nobody really cares. So it's totally okay to miss some days and just go ahead and pick up where you left off, or skip a few days and start doing where you should have been anyways. It's perfectly okay. So I hope some of that was helpful for you. Maybe it gave you some ideas on how to make a monthly drawing challenge a little bit easier for you. I definitely recommend trying a drawing challenge or a painting challenge. Whatever you're into, there is a challenge out there for you. And I definitely recommend you try one. You've got nothing to lose, really. If it's something that you love doing, drawing, painting, whatever, you're only just doing the thing that you want to do anyways. And they don't have to be elaborate drawings. You could probably even just, I'm sure people have done this, just write the word in ink and make it kind of pretty and calligraphic. I'm sure that there are lettering artists out there that have done this. I am not one of those, so I've never looked into it, but it's still sitting down, it's still practicing and drawing something, it's still doing it in ink. Basically, the point I'm trying to get to is don't let yourself get in your head about it. I know from experience how easy it is to get in your head about it. I mean, after 2017, after failing 2 years in a row, I didn't try again until last year. It doesn't have to be a high pressure, make or break your career thing. That's not what it's about. It's just about having fun and sharing something, learning a new skill, practicing and meeting new people. So do it. Just give it a try. So anyways, on to my big, exciting announcement. So one other awesome thing that can come out of doing a monthly challenge like this is that sometimes some of your designs will be pretty cool and you can do something with them in the future. Like in this book here, how I was saying some of these designs, like this poison one is now a drink me sticker, and this crooked one is now a sarcastic little witchy sticker, and this gigantic one has been turned into a decal, which is like my best-selling design on my Etsy shop. So cool things like that can come out of it, and something like that is happening again this year. So I have decided to turn some of these designs into enamel pins. I'm doing a Kickstarter for enamel pins, and I am so excited about it. I have been a fan of Kickstarter for years. I have backed other artists' Kickstarter projects, and I think it's a great platform. And I really love enamel pins and have quite a few myself. And I've always thought that it would be cool to make enamel pins, but it is quite expensive. And I, as I've mentioned in other vlogs, I just don't have the money right now to put up front for this sort of thing. So that is what I'm working on, and that is what I have been working on for most of this month, actually. So there's definitely going to be more on that coming. And if you would like to sign up to my email list so that you know exactly when it launches, click the link below and sign up to the email list. Yeah, I'm really excited. More on that to come. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope you got something out of it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye. I gotta get trying to get the shot for the cover shot.